Hey, I'm Di McQueen, licensed clinical social worker, family and addiction expert. I'm here with Dr. Brian Jackson, my longtime cohort who specializes in the field of addiction. Welcome to Healing Families Shattered by Addiction.
Di and I have worked with addicts, alcoholics, and their families for over 30 years combined. Our podcast and coaching programs focus on families who have a loved one suffering from addiction. Our experience has been that this disease affects families as much, if not more, than the addict or alcoholic.
Is your world spinning out of control? Are you codependent? Are you experiencing worry, loss of sleep, and difficulty concentrating? If so, you're in the right place. Brian and I have both personally lived it, learned it, and now we're going to teach you tools and techniques on how to get your life back that you thought was shattered by addiction. When addiction feels overwhelming, the right support can change everything. Recovery Keys, located in Ponte Vedra Beach, offers accredited residential and outpatient treatment for substance use and co-occurring mental health conditions. Unlock the keys to your recovery today. Visit recoverykeys.org or call 904-551-1394.
Okay, let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Brian Jackson. Welcome to Healing Families Shattered by Addiction. I am a doctor of addictive disorders and a Florida board certified addiction professional. I am here alone today. My partner is Ms. Diane McQueen, who is also licensed, and she is licensed as a clinical social worker and also a master's level certified addiction professional in the state of Florida. So I had some questions lately from a family, like, what should we do, what should we not do, or, some sort of guidance as they go through this process of having a loved one that's suffering from addiction. So what I did was I wanted to share with you 10 hard, fast rules for families of addicted loved ones. And also I put this in an article that is on our website, familyandaddictionexperts.com. And you'll see on there, it's called the Family Survival Kit. So you can download these bullet points, if you will, for yourself. I mean, if you're anything like me, I listen to a podcast and something will really hit me and I'll go, oh my goodness, I forgot it. So short of going back and trying to find it somewhere in the podcast, I think it would be helpful just to have, something that you can print out if it's something that you feel like could be useful for you in your life. So the 10 hard, fast rules for families of addicted loved ones. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. And this is important. You cannot love someone out of addiction. Addiction's a chronic brain and behavioral disorder. So love matters. You want to continue to love them, but it does not replace treatment, accountability, or recovery work. So sometimes it can get discouraging because it's like, gosh, I've loved this person so much. We give them everything, and everything is good. But, why do they continue to hurt themselves with this addiction? But again, it is an illness. It is a disease, and not so easy just to stop. Number 2, don't confuse helping with rescuing. Okay. So paying bills, fixing legal problems, covering up behavior, or repeatedly bailing someone out often prolongs the addiction rather than stopping it. In other words, you're not feeling the consequences. You're basically short-stopping things that they should be responsible for instead of you. Number 3, boundaries are essential, not punishment. And that's an important distinction. A boundary is not a punishment. A boundary is about what you will or will not tolerate. It protects the family system from chaos and manipulation. And we'll talk about manipulation after we get through these 10 items. So addiction affects the entire family. Everyone adopts to the disease through fear, control, denial, anger, rescuing, or withdrawal. So recovery for the family matters too. So this is an illness that affects everyone in the family, not just the person that has the addiction. And a lot of times for family members, and we've discussed this ad nauseum, is that, if they're powerless over their substance of choice, think about how powerless you are in in trying to stop it, which is easier said than done. So words mean little without consistent behavior. So I want you to judge recovery by actions over time. You know, honesty, is there treatment participation? Is the person being more accountable, stability, and follow through? So it's one thing to say, you know, I'm going to stop, I'm going to get sober. But what we're really looking for is an outward sign of an inward change. And that would express itself in somebody being more accountable, acknowledging they have an issue and seeking help, either through treatment or counseling, or 12-step programs, along with abstinence. It doesn't work if you're not abstaining. Do not negotiate with someone who's intoxicated or actively using. I mean, and this is kind of one I really pound the table on. Like if somebody calls me up and they're intoxicated, it really is a waste of time because you are talking to whatever the drug of choice. Let's say it's alcohol. I'm talking to the alcohol. I'm not talking to the person. And it can be very frustrating, because, you know, typically their retorts are nonsensical. You're asking rational questions and nothing is making sense. So it's important that conversations, consequences, and decisions should happen when the person is sober and emotionally regulated. So that's the time to sit down and have a conversation, and hopefully, um, you know, it won't escalate, you know, with people getting annoyed and aggravating and raising their voice. Um, and you are not responsible for another adult's choices. Families can support recovery, but they cannot control whether someone uses, relapses, lies, or accepts help. So that's where you have to really kind of come to a place of acceptance that you're doing the best, very best you can, but you have to let go of the outcome because their outcome is really contingent upon what they do or what they don't do. And number 8, consequences can be therapeutic, believe it or not. Shielding someone from every consequence often delays motivation for change. So pain is frequently what pushes people toward treatment. So no pain, no gain. It's kind of my mantra. Uh, Need to experience pain to make the connection that is directly related to the use of substances. Um, Recovery requires structure, not hope alone. So treatment, meetings, therapy, medication when appropriate, sober supports, monitoring, and routine matter far more than promises. So again, you know, we can say we're going to get sober. I know I went through a period of time where I told everybody I was going to stop, but I didn't do anything to make it happen. So it's not a matter of willpower. Your brain's been hijacked, your maintenance using, and until you have an intervention, if you will, not an actual intervention, but intervention in terms of treatment, medication assisted treatment when necessary, is very important. Number 10 is protect children and vulnerable family members first. So safety, emotional stability, and healthy boundaries for children should always take priority over preserving appearances, or avoiding conflict. So we do not want to put any children in harm's way. So, you know, those are basically the 10 hard, fast rules. Um, but then the question I get after that is, well, how do I do this without getting manipulated? Because manipulation is one of the tools, um, and one I certainly used when I was in my addiction to try and make sure that I was able to continue to get my drug of choice. So families are most often vulnerable to manipulation because addiction creates urgency, guilt, fear, and confusion. The key is learning to respond instead of reacting. So I encourage you to pause, not react, think things through before you respond. So here are some practical ways families can avoid getting pulled into that cycle of manipulation. Number 1 is to slow everything down. So manipulation thrives on urgency. Examples would be, I need money right now, or this is an emergency, or the guilt thing. If you love me, you'd help. Step back, think about these things. There is no 911 when it comes to what they need to continue using. A healthy response is, I'm not making any decisions under pressure. I will think about it. Okay, so that way you get time to step back from the situation that the person is trying to create this unbelievable sense of urgency. So stop arguing about reality. Addicted individuals may deny, minimize, blame, rewrite history, or create confusion. Do not get trapped providing facts. Instead, say, I understand you see it differently. My decision still stands. So this is not something you argue about. They're making choices. You need to make choices. You know what the facts are. They may or may not know what the facts are, but try and convince you that the facts are different than the way you see it. You do not have to explain boundaries repeatedly. So over explaining invites negotiation, you know. So, well, maybe if you had done treatment is a weak response. A strong response is, I'm not giving money anymore. So be clear and direct. Number 4, watch behavior, not emotion. So tears, anger, promises, guilt, charm, and outrage can still be part of the cycle. So you really need to focus on patterns. Are they sober? Are they going to treatment? Are they being honest? And is there some consistency over a period of time? So it takes a long time for the trust to go away. It doesn't take that long for the trust to come back. However, there needs to be consistency in terms of their continuum of care and what they're doing to maintain their sobriety. Number 5, never make decisions during crisis moments. Crises create emotional hijacking. Have pre-decided rules. No cash, no lying in the home, no intoxication around children. Treatment is required for support. And I think that's reasonable, because you're asking them to go get help. You want them to get better. It's not a punishment. These treatment facilities, there's many of them that are just absolutely wonderful in terms of the staff and the people they have there that understand addiction and dual diagnosis, meaning any other behavioral problems that go along with their addiction. Number 6 is real important. You need to detach from guilt. Loving someone does not mean sacrificing your mental health, your finances, your marriage, or safety. Families often confuse guilt with compassion, rescuing with love, and fear with responsibility. And I say these things like they're easy to do, but they're not. But if you're aware of them, at least you can, if you download this off the Family Survival Kit, you can kind of have it as a cheat sheet for yourself, because these are all very common things that happen when you're dealing with an addicted loved one. So 7, I would expect pushback when boundaries begin. When the system changes, the addicted person often escalates. You may see more anger, threats, guilt, victim language, or, trying to blame it on you and say that you abandoned me. This does not mean the boundary is wrong. It often means the boundary is working. So this escalation is like, oh my goodness, they're not going to do what they have been doing, which has enabled me to continue my lifestyle of addiction. And now the rules are changing, and I am not going to get what I've been getting to help me, perpetuate my using. Number 8, use short, calm communication. Long emotional conversations usually become circular. Helpful phrases. I am not discussing this further. That doesn't work for me. I hope you choose treatment. I love you, but I won't support the addiction. I'm going to repeat that one. I love you, but I won't support the addiction. That doesn't make you mean. That makes you loving. Okay. Get outside support. This is really happy for families because families isolated in addiction dynamics lose perspective. Support groups, therapy, and education help people recognize manipulation patterns clearly. Organizations like Al-Anon family groups and Nar-Anon family groups can help families develop healthier responses. So Al-Anon is for family members you're a family member of somebody who has a problem with alcohol, And Nar-Anon is if you're a family member who has someone who's using drugs. And again, outside therapy is also really important, I think, in tandem with these groups, as we can get as much as resources as possible to help you stay the course and maintain, the proper attitude and behavior that will facilitate the chances for your loved one getting to treatment. And finally, 10, remember, boundaries reveal the truth. When enabling stops, you often learn whether the person truly wants recovery or simply wants relief from consequences. I'm going to read that again. When enabling stops, you often learn whether the person truly wants recovery or simply wants relief from consequences. So hopefully those things are helpful for you. So again, it's 10 bullet points on the hard, fast rules for families of addicted loved ones, and then how to do this without getting manipulated. So again, this will be in the Family Survival Kit on familyandaddictionexperts.com. You can go there. There's also a spot on there where you can click on a free consultation with myself or Diane myself to see if we can be of any assistance with you and your family. Every family is different. If we can, we'll let you know. And if we can't, we'll also let you know that. But we're here as a resource to help you. We have podcasts, and it's titled Healing Families Shattered by Addiction. You can find that on Spotify, iTunes, and I think we're on YouTube as well. So, but if you have any questions, you can email us at info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. If we see a question from you, we will do our best to answer it. If we don't know the answer, we will find the answer and get back to you. So just some tools to help you and hopefully reduce your anxiety and being fragmented and realizing you're not being a bad person by not giving the person who is suffering or giving into, their anger and their trying to blame you and all that stuff. So that all goes hand in hand with addiction. That doesn't mean they're bad people. So, I constantly say they're not bad people trying to become good people. They have an illness just like anybody else might have any other kind of illness. So the goal here is to help them get well and stay well and restore everything back to quote unquote normal within the family system. So thank you very, very much. And we will be back in a couple of weeks with another podcast, Healing Families Shattered by Addiction. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining our podcast, Healing Families Shattered by Addiction. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with more important tools, techniques, and ways for you to focus on you instead of the alcoholic or addict in your world.
Until then, please go to our website, familyandaddictionexperts.com. That's familyandaddictionexperts.com. You'll also see links to our Facebook and Instagram pages. Please also, if you have any emails that you would like to send us, that's info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. That's info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. With any thoughts, feelings, questions that you may have for us, we would love to hear from you, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Unlock the keys to your recovery today. Visit recoverykeys.org or call 904-551-1394.